According to a recent poll, 82% of all voters, including 77% of all Republicans, support the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau and its mission to protect consumers. Let that sink in. More Republicans, let the record reflect, support the CFPB than support Donald Trump. And it's clear why. The CFPB, under Director Chopra's leadership, has taken decisive action to combat junk fees, hold predatory lenders accountable, protect seniors against fraud, hold big banks accountable, remove the burden of medical debt, ensure harmed consumers get the relief they need, and the list goes on. Now, while the CFPB's record speaks for itself, Republican members on this committee make it make sense, continue to show how out of touch they are with their own constituents as they launch attack after attack, willfully ignoring the broad support the CFPB has across the nation. This agency is dedicated to protecting consumers, and losing the Bureau would be disastrous for our financial system and economy. People are certainly entitled to their opinions, but not to their own version of the truth. And there is broad support that the CFPB has across the nation, and so willfully ignoring that will not change the truth. Professor Peterson, the primary attack from Republicans is about the CFPB's funding structure, but CFPB is not the only financial regulator with a source of independent funding. Do the Federal Reserve, FDIC, Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, National Credit Union Administration, and other agencies also have independent funding outside of the annual appropriations process?
Yes, Representative, they do.
Thank you. Now, the second attack from Republicans is that the CFPB is too good at protecting consumers. The CFPB recently finalized a rule to limit late fees that credit card companies could charge from $32 to $8. If this rule takes effect, consumers would save a staggering $10 billion, that's with a B, dollars annually. Despite this, Republicans are trying to overturn this rule. They're choosing to defend a deeply exploitive late fee practice that harms consumers at the expense of millions of workers and families who live paycheck to paycheck. Families that are struggling to make ends meet due to unlivable wages, a lack of affordable health care, the absence of paid leave, and many other policies that are pushing families farther to the margins. At their most financially vulnerable moments, these working families are charged predatory late fees by credit card companies. This is deeply unjust. Professor Peterson, can you elaborate on how the CFPB's late fee rule benefits everyday consumers, many of whom live paycheck to paycheck?
Sure, Representative. Look, when people can't make ends meet, they're likely to have a late payment on their credit card, and when they get socked with a fee, it's more money out of their bank account, less able to cover the costs, make sure their kids are getting enough to eat, making sure they can pay their rent. The CFPB's late fee rule, it's a simple rule. Decreases the safe harbor, makes it much more likely that banks are going to charge lower late fees, which means when people are really struggling to make ends meet, they're less likely to get hit with a high-cost fee. It's just better for the public.
Thank you. These Republican attacks against the Bureau are baseless. They do nothing to support or benefit the people, our shared constituents. The CFPB supports our most vulnerable and protects millions of consumers from exploitation, abuse, and predatory lending. We should be celebrating the Bureau and all the staff for their hard work that often goes underappreciated instead of attacking them. Thank you, and I yield.